The history of hate in North Idaho goes back 50 years, all coming to a head in the 80s and 90s. Since then, North Idaho leadership has been working to separate the community from those ideologies. Current Mayor Jim Hammond says North Idaho is past that time in their history.
We are not a city who wishes to bring any hurt upon anyone. So it's important, because Coeur d'Alene has experienced that before. We're not going back to the days of the Aryan nations.
The hate group Patriot Front showing up in Coeur d'Alene was a stark reminder of the decades of combating hate in North Idaho. North Idaho's Aryan history started back in the early 70s. Richard Butler, an active member of white supremacist organizations in California, moved to Hayden, Idaho. That's where he founded the Aryan Nations, building a 20-acre compound. Over the next few decades, the region became a main hub for the neo-Nazi movement. In 1982, the compound in Hayden hosted the Aryan World Congress. The group passed out racist pamphlets and started having run-ins with the law.
It could have been worse. No one was hurt or killed.
In September 1986, white supremacists set off several bombs in Coeur d'Alene. One of the targets, this courthouse on Lakeside and 4th Avenue. Fast forward a few years to the Ruby Ridge standoffs in 1992. The 11-day siege was to arrest Randy Weaver, who had been to several Aryan Nations meetings. Over the course of the 11 days, members of the hate group showed up to protest the siege. Over the next few years, several bombings and bank robberies happened in Spokane that police later tied to an Aryan Nation splinter group called the Order. In April 1996, another set of white nationalists bombed Spokane City Hall.
When the bomb exploded outside this building.
No one was hurt in those bombings, and that bomber is still in jail. Through all this, Richard Butler hosted Aryan Nation marches in North Idaho. This is video from a 1998 march.
2, 4, 6, 8. We don't want your racist hate!
Even in the thick of these marches, the community was fighting hate in their region.
So are you saying you're not proud to be white? You need to be proud of being white.
This isn't just the Aryan March, this is Aryan/Nazi March. Look at the Nazi sign at the Aryan Nations compound. Nazism as a political ideology is based on human rights violations. As a human being going in the 21st century, I can't stand by and just watch that.
Butler was still attending these events, though, fueling the fire. Despite all the run-ins with the law, it took this mother and son to finally take down the organization. In 2001, the duo, along with Southern Poverty Law Center, sued the Aryan Nations and won. That effectively bankrupted the group. The group ultimately started disbanding after Butler died in 2004. Since North Idaho has actually celebrated the disbanding of the Aryan Nations. In 2010, civil rights advocates dedicated this commemorative stone to the downfall of the movement. That dedication is still on display at North Idaho College. In the past few years, though, the Kootenai County Task Force for Human Relations has noticed a resurgence of white supremacist ideologies in North Idaho and nationwide. Tony Stewart, co-founder of the task force, says this recent resurgence is different than back in the 80s and 90s. We aren't seeing established hate groups returning to the area, but North Idaho does have people living here who oppose human rights and social justice. Coeur d'Alene police said they had dozens of people call in after they arrested the 31 members of that hate group. They say the calls were split 50-50, with people supporting police versus the hate group. Stewart says he does not think the community as a whole is split 50-50, but he does call these ideologies a disease of sorts that need to be stopped from spreading.
To really be able to be effective, it's really important that people not remain silent, not sit on the sidelines. So one of our tasks is to try to convince people, become part of the solution.
The task force got right to work after the arrest last month. They started by distributing 1,000 of the North Idaho Rejects Hate t-shirts, and another 1,000 are on the way. In the newsroom, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.